Remnant has announced its next and final DLC packet. Along with it, they dropped a rather significant trailer that gives us a good idea of where we'll be going and what we'll be doing in this new DLC. This video will be a speculative dive into the lore of the trailer, as well as of the two new areas we'll be exploring. First, I would like to begin with the name of the DLC, because it already tells us a lot. Subject 2923. Before I even watched the trailer, I was already super excited because the name rang instantly in my mind as something I'd heard in the game before. Now at first glance, this may seem like a random reference to a possible experiment or future part of the lore yet to be discovered, but we actually know quite a bit about Subject 2923, or as she was most commonly known, Clementine. Clementine was one of the first dreamers to have been properly connected to a guardian during the early days of the ward experiments. During our exploration of Ward 13, we find notes relating to her case within the terminal in her room. She was linked to the guardian of a frozen world that was inhabited by mammalian creatures called Polos. Her body eventually suffered some form of tragic accident, which seemingly shifted her from our world. We see several scenes in the trailer depicting a very similar world to that which is described in her notes, a frozen, Nordic-themed world called Rezium. From the trailer, we also get a look at some of the potential bosses and NPCs of the area, including a bearded giant and several armored Polos. Now, after watching the trailer a few times, the thought of why exactly we would be going to this new world started to itch at me, and I have a theory as to what the reason may be. In the trailer, we see fairly clearly that after the events of the Atoll, Ward 13 has finally started to regain some freedom. We see the outside of the gate we were unable to exit from until now, and we are told that there is still one pocket of root infestation left for us to take care of. Now I think that this will be the first part of the DLC we will cover. The first new zone will be a new area on Earth. We will gain more information on the root and the events preceding the Atoll, even encountering new enemies. I think we might even visit some areas from Kronos, and according to the post on the official Remnant page, in a brand new campaign mode, players will discover the origins of the Dreamer program and its connections to the root. I hope this means we will finally get a full picture of what happened before the root invaded Earth. We will hunt down this final root problem and defeat it, effectively ridding the world of them. This will wrap a nice ending to the entirety of the main game's story on Earth. However, from this point on, the question remains, why then would we go to this new frozen world? My theory is as follows. I believe it is because a new enemy will present itself, one that wishes to conquer Earth. There's a part of the trailer where the narrator says this.
Maybe the root's not the only thing we need to worry about.
Now, right after this, we see our character meeting with the giant. It appears to be amicable and may possibly be helping us. This isn't the interesting part. This image is what caught my attention. Here we see one of the Polos riding on a strange creature. Look closely at what's around him. It's a bit hard to make out, but on the ground are several skeletal bodies, most, if not all of which, seem to be human. On top of that, and more convincingly, there is a very human skull spiked into the front of the animal he is riding. From his demeanor, armor, and weapons, as well as the ones from the other bosses that we get to see, I believe that he, along with his people in general, are a culture of warriors and conquerors. There is evidence as well that they have powerful magical abilities, akin to those in Yaesha. We see this one wielding a staff and using some form of purple energy, which we also get to see here and here. They're using it as a weapon. I think they have become the ruling people in their world by killing humans that live there, and that now they are trying to make their way to Earth through the use of Clementine. She will be an integral part of the story. We will be sent to Rezium to find her and possibly bring her back, simultaneously stopping the possible invasion of the Polos into Earth. I also think we will be working closely with the guardian of this world, seen here. This one I can't justify as well. There are notes about Clementine that suggest this guardian was a caring creature that looked after those in its world. If we consider the link formed between it and Clementine, I think it's fair to assume that it would want to help her and in turn us. I also think it would be an interesting twist to be working with a Guardian for once. This is pure speculation, of course, but from the details of the trailer, I think it will be a pretty close mark. We won't know for sure until the DLC itself drops in August of this year. I'm very excited for this, though it's sad to see this wonderful game coming to an end. Having a satisfying conclusion to a world so rich with lore will be enjoyable, but it's bittersweet. If you want to learn more about this fantastic game, then check out the rest of the channel and be sure to subscribe for more in-depth looks at the lore and the new content coming in the future.